Hi, Timothy here. So right now I am in Shibuya, which is one of the major commercial districts in Tokyo. And there are a lot of delicious places here in Shibuya, but sometimes too many options can be overwhelming. So this time I'm going to show you guys some of my little hidden gems here in Shibuya. So let's go check it out. Our first place is a restaurant inside this shopping mall called Kiwamiya. And there's a long line even before the restaurant opens. So it is better to come here early if you don't want to wait in a long queue. The specialty of this store is a hambagu. And it does sound similar to a hamburger because it is a Japanese hamburger steak that is basically just the beef patty. And instead of eating it like a hamburger, you cook it on the grills in front of you. And you can follow the how to eat displayed on the side of the table. But the most important thing to know is that they have two separate sets of chopsticks. The first one is a metal chopstick which you use exclusively to grill the meat. And the other pair of chopsticks is a wooden chopstick that you use to eat. Now that it is ready, let's try it by itself first. That's good. That's really good. It is really flavorful and the meat is tender and juicy. I think the meat itself is very well seasoned. Another way to enjoy the meat is by using the condiments provided. The sauces are pretty good, but it makes the overall flavor a bit too strong because the meat itself is already well seasoned. So I prefer eating it as it is without any condiments. And as part of the meal set, it comes with a soup, a salad, and a small ice cream. That's a pretty good ice cream. This next location is one of my favorite places, which is a sushi shop that is located in a small alley. It is not hidden per se, considering the number of reviews on Google Maps, but I think it will be interesting to show this delicious and inexpensive sushi place. This store is a bit different from a typical conveyor belt sushi restaurant, where the sushi will keep rotating on the conveyor belt, and you can pick up whatever you want from it. Instead, you have to order everything through this tablet. And once your order is ready, you will get a notification and your sushi will be sent directly in front of you. The slight inconvenience that I have is that you can only order up to 4 at a time. But at least once you put on the order, you can immediately put on a new one. So there are a lot of options to choose from, but I highly recommend trying their nigiri sushi, which is a typical raw fish sushi, because they look and taste pretty fresh, at least compared to the other conveyor belt sushi chains. Especially their tuna, like this medium fatty tuna. So let's try it with a bit of soy sauce and some wasabi. That's really good. It is tender and it is very buttery, and it just melts in my mouth. Even their akami, the regular tuna sushi, is good. Even though it is the lean part of the tuna, it is still pretty tender. You can taste the tuna flavor, but it is not fishy at all. If you want something more flavorful, you can get this seared salmon with mayo and black pepper. And they often have a seasonal menu that can be a hit or miss, like this horse meat sushi. It doesn't really have any taste, and it is a bit chewy. And if you don't like or cannot eat raw sushi, don't worry, they've got you covered. They have some non-raw sushi like this fried chicken sushi, which is pretty big and it is still warm and quite juicy. Or something else like this giant shrimp tempura, or this meatball sushi that they call a meatball warship. And if for whatever reason you don't want to eat a sushi, they still got you covered with their ramen, udon, soba, and some fried foods. I also recommend trying their pumpkin tempura. It is pretty good because the pumpkin inside is soft and sweet, while it is covered in a crispy tempura. And they also have a few options for dessert as well. That filled me up pretty well. 10 plates for 1,500 yen is not bad. It is a bit more expensive compared to the other sushi chains, but I think it is worth it. But now that we've tried a hamburger, the meat patty and the sushi, it is time for the last place where we will have both meat and fish in the same bowl. And it is located pretty close behind this alley, so let's go check it out. The last place on the list is somewhat hidden, because you need to be careful on which door you go in. The one on the left is a ramen shop, and the small door is the entrance to our destination. And inside they only have one main menu, which is their specialty item, a Wagyu beef and seafood rice bowl. And as the name implies, it is a rice bowl covered with Wagyu beef, topped with some salmon roe and sea urchin. But before we try it out, let's follow the best way to enjoy the meal and grind some salt into the meat. Wow, that's really good. The meat is very tender with a fatty and rich flavor, and the salt also helps enhance the flavor. But that's not all this dish has to offer. Hidden underneath the meat, there's a bowl of minced tuna with a soft-boiled egg hidden inside of it. Just look at how beautiful this is. So let's get a spoonful with a bit of everything. Oh, that was really good. It was like a burst of flavors. There's a ton of flavors from this one spoonful. And lastly, we need to leave a third of the bowl and pour this bonito broth. So by pouring this bonito broth, it is supposed to turn this rice bowl into a porridge. So let's give it a good mix. It's pretty good. The broth tastes like some kind of fish soup, and it does changes the texture similar to a porridge. So it feels like you are having two different meals in one meal. So those are some of my hidden gems in Shibuya. You can find sushi pretty much everywhere, but I think the other two are worth trying, especially the Wagyu beef and seafood rice bowl. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.